Today's video, we're going to talk about a product data feed optimization technique that'll get you tons more money from your Google shopping campaigns on Google Ads or through Google Ads. This is your product feed that you normally use to take data, product data, from your e-commerce website, whether that be Shopify or whatever. Get it to Google Merchant Center, which then obviously goes from Google Merchant Center to Google Ads to power your shopping or PMAX campaign. PMAX, by the way, is a better version of, or the best way to run a shopping campaign as long as you run a feed-only type of setup, which I've talked about on other videos before. You can search feed-only campaigns on my channel homepage and watch that video if you're curious about that. But generally speaking, shopping ads are, the top working method for e-commerce businesses because people that are on Google, first of all, are looking to buy, and then second of all, they can see what they get before they even click on your ad. So it's like the best, highest converting, highest quality traffic you can buy online for your product selling company. Problem is, you run out of steam on it, and if you want to scale your company, you can't only rely on that. Or, you can run a decent company on that, but you want, at the very least, you want to get as much out of it as you can. I'm going to tell you how to get at least double, if not triple, out of it by rolling up your sleeves here and putting in some elbow grease to make what you have with it a lot better by optimizing the product data that you have inside your product feed so that you end up making a lot more money from shopping at the end of the day. So with that said, there are a lot of ways to optimize a product feed that get you more results on Google Ads. You can obviously fix any errors. What this particular video though is about is in the category of adding extra or enhanced data to your product feed. Specifically, lacing your product feed with extra keyword data. This is the top method that I have currently to get extra results out of shopping ads if you exclude optimizing the product image. And for a lot of you guys, the product image is probably good enough if it's not optimized to be the best version of the product ad, because normally, and all of the image itself on your Google shopping campaigns, either you want a background behind your product or not. There'll be one that works better than the other in your market based upon how all the images are showing up in the shopping space now. If everybody has a white background, a colored background will work better generally. If everybody has a colored background or an action background, not white background, a white background will do better because it stands out. Beyond that kind of stuff though, and of course testing the pricing and doing making sure that you're, if you can, everybody's at XYZ price, you're $2 below, and having that kind of thing affect your results. As it comes to the product feed and the data itself, outside of fixing any major errors, adding the keyword data is going to be the top way you can get more results on your shopping campaign. Since shopping, as I touched on already at the beginning part of this video, is profitable, very profitable, and is the most profitable thing to do for an e-commerce business in a majority of the cases. I know because I've seen hundreds of e-commerce companies in the last 10 years just working with different companies here. The shopping campaigns are generally, or PMAX, if you want to say the same thing, just running the shopping placement on Google, for 90% of markets is the most profitable thing that you can do in terms of the ROI and the volume that you can do. And with that, because it's so damn profitable for most of you guys, you should be focusing on getting more out of the shopping campaign than you would even before even touching the search ads. The time, in other words, the time and effort you put in to do this method that I'm sharing with you here, adding keyword data to your product feed, you'll get better bang for your buck doing that than trying to get search ads to work, or just get your search ads to work better, because of how profitable shopping ads are and how predictable this method here I'm giving you here of adding keyword data to your product feed to enhance the feed data so Google can get you more results, how sure it is to get you more results at the end of the day. respectively. As a side, by the way, for the businesses, shopping campaigns aren't the number one thing you can use to get sales. It's in markets where people do a lot of tire kicking in general. In case you were curious, as a side. But moving forward here, to use this method now, here's the turnkey way to do this method here. To add keywords to your product feed so that you start getting more sales from your shopping campaigns, I start with the high converting and low or flat growth rate and result products, and then enhance those products with extra keywords so that they start getting shown more, which means they'll start making more sales for our company. So, if to give you an example here, if the average conversion rate of all the shopping ads that we have is at 3%, right? 3% of all the clicks we get turn into a sale. Any products that I find that are at 3% conversion rate or higher and don't have very many sales because they're not being shown very much. In other words, they have low impressions compared to other products that are being shown from my product feed, or I am getting shown a lot, but the sales from that product is not growing over the last 6 months. Those specifically are the products that I'm going to focus my efforts in using this keyword strategy on first. Why? Because I'm going to get the most bang for our buck up front. Everything it comes down to in online marketing is to evaluate everything that you have available to you to increase your sales, find the most productive thing to do first, and then do that, and then use the money from that to go after harder to monetize things. So, items that, in other words, convert well, but don't get shown very much, of course, the opportunity there is going to be good, because the reason why it's not getting shown much, even though it gets a high conversion rate, is because Google doesn't understand how to get you more, how to show it more, probably because they don't have a very good feel of what that product is. If you have the GTIN number added for that product, it probably a lot of times can know where to show that product, because it uses the GTIN number from other competitors you have running shopping ads, and use their data to understand where you should show up. If you don't have the GTIN number or NPN number on your product feed, it has a terrible time to know where you should show up. And it can, through trial and error, figure out where you should show up for what searches and whatnot. But if it's not very good, it'll just shut down that product right away. You won't ever get to the other side where it could be effective. And if it just knew where to show your ad to where it could get you a sale, so that it doesn't drop the ROI or ROAS that the campaign is getting. So that's what the algorithm's trained to do. It'll try to get you traction on an item. If it can't, it'll neuter the potential of that product, as to not drive down the ROAS of the entire campaign, given that you have a set ROAS target for that campaign. If you're using target ROAS bidding and or just have a PMAX campaign that uses target ROAS bidding to begin with. So, but even if you have that GTIN and NPN number added on your product feed for that product, and Google still already knows from your competitors who run ads for that product, hypothetically, this keyword method here will still get you more traction, because it adds data that your competitors aren't going to have, or what Google already knows by having that GTIN or NPN number added to your product feed. So what is it, in terms of the keyword data, what do you actually add to your product feed to make those products that have a lot of potential, convert really well, not shown a lot, or they're not being shown more because Google's hit a roadblock in what it can figure out, other places it can figure out to show your ad that will actually convert? Well, what you do, very simply, is you add synonyms that match up with the product that you have, and you add that to the product title. Why the product title? Because the product title is used more than anything else by far to decide where you're showing up in the Google search results. Naturally, with shopping ads, the fact that people get to see your product before they have to click on it, you don't have to totally get that close in terms of the exact searches you should show up for for it to work well. You just got to kind of get close, which is why shopping ads are nice. But if you're selling purple footballs, okay, right? To give you an example of how this works, and you want to get more sales of those purple footballs, you go ahead and you use a thesaurus, good old-fashioned thesaurus. You can use obviously an online thesaurus nowadays, but type in the word purple, color purple, into the thesaurus and see what comes out the other side. In this particular case, you wouldn't even need a thesaurus. You could type it into Google. List out the shades of purple that exist. There's fuchsia, there's, I don't even know, royal purple, whatever. You get what I'm saying. You find other synonyms or ways that people refer to the words that your product is titled already, and then you add those words to the title. Yes, it is going to make your title look junky and junk it up, but you just aren't going to get that level of instant results with your campaign adding those keywords that are synonyms to that you could use to also describe your product to the description or to other parts of your product feed or to the product page itself. So what I'll do is if the title on the product that I have listed on the product feed is like this, purple football. If the title's there like that on my product feed like that, what I'll do is I'll do a horizontal bar. I don't know what they call that, but you get what I'm saying. And then I'll put violet. Oop. Violet football. So it's clearly, you can see if you were to read this title, because you can see the title if you hover over the product on the Google Shopping ad itself, if the title is too long to display by default. But at least if you see this, you'll kind of see what the company's trying to do. They're trying to also list other ways to describe this product, so it's not confusing to the user, if you will. But that's basically how you do it. So you come up with these synonyms, and some of this, you guys, is going to have to use some trial and error. So if you're not sure if something works, you can always add one keyword, or add all the easy, obvious ones that'll work first, and then later on come back on the iffy ones, add them one at a time, and see what happens instead of adding a ton of them that you're unsure about and then see your results drop. The algorithm, if you have target ROAS bidding set up, is going to weed out of the keywords you add, and then the new search results you show up on as a result of that don't convert, they'll just stop having you show for those items. But naturally, you want to keep the title length as low as possible, not to junk up what users see, unless that's driving value for you. So in that case, I would, if you want to do things thorough, you would add one or a couple keywords at a time, and then if I don't see my sales results go up with the profit, I'm going to drop those out and try another two until I find the collection of synonyms that we've added to the title that gives me the maximum profit from that item. Versus adding 10 of them and the profit goes up, but only 3 of them actually contributed to an increase in profit for your company through the use of extra keywords on the title for that item. And you have 7 keywords that are there on that title for that item forevermore that don't actually contribute to the increase in sales, if you will, and then makes the title junked up forever, if you will. As a side note, if you're wondering if this is also got to be on your site, it doesn't. You could add additional keywords to that title by using a secondary product feed. And you'll find that in Google Merchant Center. There's primary product feeds, and then there is a secondary product feed. So add a secondary product feed, which the product feed, what it does for that secondary product feed is you can say, hey Google, instead of displaying the product title, because you can have like a content.api or a dynamic product feed that scrapes all the product data on your site and then brings it to Google Merchant Center for you automatically. You should do that. That's the way it's most convenient to have your data passed from your site to Google Merchant Center. But if you don't want to have the product title on your shopping ad to show up what you have as a product title on your site, you can use the secondary product feed to override what was automatically sent through your primary product feed and primary mechanism to get data from your site to Google Merchant Center, so that so everything from your primary way that you get data from your site to Google Merchant Center is used, except for the title, in which you override the title data with a new title, which you're going to put the new title that you come up with in this secondary product feed, so that, again, everything else that came from your site by your default way to get product data from your site to Google Merchant Center, it's going to keep using it except for the title, and it's going to override the title that was imported with all the rest of your product data with this new title that you come up with that has keywords embedded within it. So really that's all there is to it. As a part of the synonyms, by the way, if that works for you, that's tried and true. Sometimes, for some of you guys, you'll be able to get competitor model numbers and part numbers also involved to expand how many impressions and sales and profit you can make from your shopping campaigns. In this case, what you do, this is something I use, well, obviously to this day, like on Craigslist, you can see people doing. What they do is you got your product title, and I'll just do this again, purple football. Okay, here's your product title right here, right? I know it's kind of small, but, and then you could put not, N-O-T, JR12E. Assuming your competitor's purple football that they sell, they refer to it, and there's a part number associated with it called JR12E. You could put that not JR12E at the end of your normal product title, so that it starts showing up for people searching for JR12E. See what I'm saying there? But if you put not, that makes sure that users aren't confused and see your title there on Google Shopping. See how and why and what we're doing with this? That's pretty much it. So you can do either a part number or you can do model number. Sometimes that'll work, and maybe you do both. So you just have to go ahead and find out all the model numbers of all the directly comparable items for that item that competes with it, as well as all the part numbers of all the items that directly compete with that item. And then add that, not blah, 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 blah. You put list each one, and then you instantly, basically, it's like magic how quickly this works. As soon as this is done, you add the alternate title in your secondary product feed that you add, you'll start showing up for those other terms right away. And you'll get results right away. Assuming that the correct words that you should be showing up for that would get results. So, naturally all this data, once you find out what works, will go into your search campaigns to help you increase your results even more. If someone's searching for a competitor's item by model number, that's such a refined search, which you with great certainty know what that person wants and will likely buy. You would also want to target them on the search ad to expand your profit. So if you take my initial advice I gave you, where you just add one or two of these additional words to your title at a time, if you see that you get a lift in sales, right away take those same words, do a search campaign targeting those same words, double what you're making from finding out that additional word and that additional place that you're showing up on Google will get you more sales results. Because if it works on shopping, it'll work on the search ads. Basically, not necessarily exactly all the time, that certainly isn't the case, but for the most part, if you get a predictable result on shopping, adding that word, it should work on search. And at the very least, if it doesn't work on search, all you do is you lower what you're willing to pay for a click, or if you've gotten to the point where you're using smart bidding already, you're doing maximize conversion value based bidding, then the algorithm will automatically lower, it'll give you some traction, but not the full traction. And as a result of that, they'll charge you less per click. With manual bidding, you can just lower your cost per click low enough to where you're getting the ROI that you want, because you're paying a lower cost for the clicks. You're still getting a little bit of clicks, not what you would if you were to bid a higher amount, but the clicks at least that you get are profitable and get you an ROI that you want. And with automated bidding, they basically do that same thing for you on their end. But you get the general gist of what I'm trying to say there already. So, in short here, go ahead and whip out your thesaurus, find certain words that match up as closely as possible to the item that you're selling. Add those words one at a time. Watch your numbers. Ones that work, keep. Ones that don't, pull out. Do that over and over and over again. And then potentially add your competitor make and model numbers to your title. And do that until you've done that. You've gotten the full value you can out of that individual item. And then keep going and doing that for all the rest of your items. Now, obviously, this is a whole ton of work. People want to just upload their product feeds and let Google get the results. And for the most part, you will get results. But the question always is, how long is it going to take? Google's algorithm will take 10 years to what you could do in a month just by doing the keyword research yourself and using your own mind and your own logic and helping them with, lace the product feed with the data that is directly relevant to your product, and then give them, cut out the 9 years worth of freaking work that the algorithm would have to do to find out what you already basically could do on your own, and then let their algorithm, get you results from there. You're just going to make the time that it takes and the money that it takes to get to the end result you want much less. So yes, it's going to take work, but would you rather waste, how many thousands in advertising spend for Google's algorithm to find out what doesn't work, which you could just teach them up front will work for the most part, and not have to waste all that money for their algorithm to figure it out. Which, anytime you let the AI system to just try to find you results on their own, it's going to always cost you more money than just using your own logic, assuming that you put a decent amount of effort into it, that telling Google or whatnot there what you want to run yourself, and then letting the algorithm take over once you can't do any more to narrow down the advertising on your own, if you will. So, so you'll have to do this item by item, but like I said, if you start with the items that seem like has the most potential, high conversion rates, low impressions, you'll get a big result in the first few items that will get you motivated, and then you can just keep going down the line. Of course, you can easily outsource this to somebody that can help you do it. And yes, it would be expensive to do all the items, but if you do it for 10 items, you can easily calculate how much more return you're getting out of those first 10 items, assuming you sell, hundreds or thousands of items or whatever. And then once you see that you're making an extra $3,000 a month, well, now you can afford to hire somebody full-time to do the rest of it. You could justify it, you know what the return is. It isn't speculation at that point. So anyway, I think I pretty much spelled out what this is. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you have any other ad-related question, whether that's about Google product feeds or Google ads or anything related to advertising, I'd be happy to try to help put you on the right track with what you're doing. This is a way of giving back for watching my channel. With that said, if you like the content on this channel, you should consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other videos that can help you get totally rich advertising your businesses. The strategies I give you on this channel are from what I find work with our clients at our firm. All I do all day long is just do ad strategy and testing for clients that I have, and I run and actively manage several dozens of ad accounts on an ongoing basis, and I'm just on an ongoing basis learning what works. And on this channel, I'm just sharing with you what we find work and what doesn't work. So it's getting information straight from the source, whereas a lot of these channels, these are professional YouTubers, they're not running no ad agency, they're not, they're selling courses. It's all speculation and comparison. So this is the most true information you can find on YouTube because of that. So you should subscribe, and if you like the channel, I also got a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can also find work for myself in written form, as well as on my column at entrepreneur.com that I run and that I have. Beyond that, if you are looking for the best ad manager, I can promise you, if you reach out to me, I can let you know what results we can get for your campaigns in addition to what you have, and it's going to be better than what you're going to find through hiring other fake, phony ad managers that 90% of the market's littered with, and of which nobody else in this entire space does, which indicates what services I'm offering our clients. With that, we can guarantee you a certain amount of minimum results on your account before we take any kind of fees at all. So the catch is we don't work with just any kind of client. You got to have a great product or service to promote, but if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. I'll give you a free analysis and see if we can work together and how much results we can likely bring your company short term. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. I'd be happy to hear from you. If you are looking for some short-term results and you don't want an ad manager per se, we've been selling ad templates that work for the 100+ markets that we have been working in over the last 10 years. If we spent a few years working up and to get great results for a client in a certain industry like the plumbing space or selling printer toner, you want to start a business in that area or in it, we can sell you the ad templates and landing page templates and everything that work for your industry, and you can literally copy paste results into your account and take the winning version of what works for your space and use it for yourself for a one-time fee. As long as there's no conflict of interest between what you're doing and a client that we have, we're happy to sell it to you, and it's going to be cheaper than figuring out all the same stuff for yourself. So, and that certainly might be client A that we have works in one city, you work in another. You can just use what we have in one city going in yours, or in one country you may be operating in one country and our other client that we have operates in another country. Therefore you can use what basically it's going to be fundamentally the same stuff that works in one country over another. You could take the campaign that we have that sells printer toner in country A and use it in country B and have a turnkey business essentially, given that the ad campaigns are already proven. You don't have to do any of that. You just got to use the templates, and that's that. So if you're interested in seeing what results we've gotten in your market hypothetically, or to start a business in a new market, which we've had people do with our templates, reach out to me. I'll let you know what markets we've been in and what results we've gotten in those markets that you might be interested in, or just in general. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, you saw a lot of value out of it, and I hope to see you on my next one where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.